This is part 2, Instruments of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Here we'll be talking mostly on the instruments for dilatation and curettage and evacuation. This is Hegar's dilator. It is a solid rod-like structure. It has tapering ends which are solid and smooth. It is used for rapid dilatation prior to endometrial curettage, prior to evacuation in first trimesteric medical termination of pregnancy, prior to evacuation of mole, removal of placental polyp, endometrial polyp, before hysteroscopy, and in major surgeries like Fothergill's operation, amputation of the cervix, and in cervical stenosis. Sims sharpened blunt curette. It comes in different sizes. It may be few millimeters to centimeters. The terminal ends are having oval loops, which is sharp as well as blunt. One end is blunt, which is used in obstetrics, and the other end is sharp, which is used in gynecological cases. In the gynecological cases, the uses are diagnostic and therapeutic. Diagnostic to determine the pattern of the endometrium in cases of abnormal uterine bleeding. In secondary amenorrhea, specially to diagnose tuberculous endometritis, and here the sample is mostly taken from the cornu of the uterus. Endometrial hyperplasia or endometrial carcinoma in postmenopausal bleeding, specially to rule out endometrial cancer. When in case of endometrial cancer, the sample is being taken, the method which is used is called as a fractional curettage. Here, 3 specimens are taken. First specimen is from the undilated cervical canal. This is called as the endocervical curettage. Second is taken from just above the isthmus without dilating the cervix. This is second sample. And the third is taken from the uterine cavity from all the 4 walls, anterior, posterior, lateral, and the fundus. Continuing to the gynecologic as therapeutic. In cases of the dysfunctional uterine bleeding, you scrape the whole of the endometrium from all the walls, and thereby it helps in causing cessation of the bleeding, and the patients sometimes get improved for more than say 6 months. Then second, in cases of therapeutic Asherman syndrome, it is used for breaking the adhesions, and after that IUCD is embedded inside, which keeps the wall of the uterus separated and prevents adhesions. Obstetric causes, uses, used for medical termination of pregnancy, dilatation and curettage. Here the blunt end edges are used, and even in cases of incomplete abortion, missed abortion, curettage is done. And secondary postpartum hemorrhage. Whenever there is diagnosis of the retained products of conception, blunt curettage is done. Now, what are the disadvantages? When we talk of that, the complications are though less than 1%, but still it could cause infection, perforation, cervical injuries, hemorrhage. It could also create Asherman syndrome. If some person does enthusiastic curettage, that is, he pulls the stratum basilis also, then there are chances that the patient may have developed Asherman syndrome. Contraindications are if you're suspecting pregnancy, if there is pelvic inflammatory disease, if there is pyometra, if there is genital infection, then curettage is not done. Endometrial biopsy curette. Now, this comes with different names, but simply if you even remember that this is an endometrial biopsy curette, that is enough. There is Ranulas, there is Novak's curette, but then it is an instrument which is having a round tip, and it is the subterminal part is having serrated edge, as you can see here, and there is a stellate which is also going in the center, the wire like device. And this advantage of this instrument is that you can obtain endometrial biopsy without dilating the cervix. Now next is ovum forceps. The ovum forceps is a long instrument which is not having any catch, and the end is having 2 fenestrated blades which are having longitudinal fenestration. This is in order to have a grip of the tissue and hold the tissue which you are going to remove. And the because it is not having a catch, It helps in avoiding perforation of the wall. Uses: it is used for evacuation of the products of conceptus, especially abortion and vesicular mole, and it is also used for removing the products of conception in secondary postpartum hemorrhage. This you can see is a plastic cannula. It goes by the name of Karman's cannula. It is open at both the ends. This end is connected to the suction apparatus, and here there are holes, the apertures, which are also called as a whistle, from which the products of the conceptus or the mole will be drawn, because a negative suction is created by introducing the cannula inside the uterine cavity. This is a tubular plastic structure. It comes in different sizes, 4 to 12 millimeters in diameter, and the proximal end fixes with the syringe or with the suction cannula, and it is superior because it takes less time. It makes the procedure complete, and it is also less traumatic, and the device being transparent, you can see the material which is getting disposed. This is the manual vacuum aspiration syringe. Now the Karman's cannula, this is a device which creates vacuum, and it is having different cannulas of sizes which come, and this is used for creating a negative suction. It is a manual vacuum aspiration syringe, and when you are using this syringe, normally it is not having any medico-legal aspect. It is used like a regulation syringe. This is a cannula of the manual vacuum aspiration, which I had just now showed. This cannula belongs to this instrument. Now the manual vacuum aspiration is used for aspirating the contents of the uterus up till 12 weeks of the pregnancy, and this is superior to the menstrual regulation. WHO recommends MVA as a procedure of choice before 10 weeks of pregnancy, but it is safe up to almost 12 weeks. It has got a capacity of 60 ml, and the vacuum created by this syringe is around 65 centimeters or 650 millimeters of mercury, and it has got a barrel and a piston. By controlling the valve, you pull the syringe and create this negative suction. So its uses are in MTP, in incomplete abortion, in missed abortion, and sometimes after craniotomy, in a hydrocephalus, you can aspirate the CSF from the baby's head, and also endometrial aspiration can be taken for endometrial pathology. That is about all these instruments, and next again we meet in part 3.